Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we look at Masamune-kun's No Revenge, episode 12, and thus the season finale and maybe series finale of the show. Uh, you know, Masamune-kun, I'm going to be honest with you guys and girls, I actually thought was a really weak show in the beginning. And then by a few episodes in, I actually was really excited about the show because it was doing a lot of things that were going against the status quo of harem slash romance stories. And I was like, okay, this is pretty good. And then when we got to like the last like several episodes, it kind of went back into the hole for me. Kind of all formulating to this basic conclusion that I really didn't really particularly care for. Like this episode, I know of course you have Masamune deciding, I'm gonna help the group out. I'm gonna help, and I'll be the prince for the Sleeping Beauty play, and of course they share a kiss. But in this sense, like I know a lot of people are gonna say, oh, at least they kissed each other, right? Do you really count this as a kiss? Like, I mean, because actors kiss all the time and stage performers kiss all the time doesn't mean that there's anything romantically charged behind this. So, yeah, it's a kiss, but at the same time, it's not the kiss I was hoping for. I was actually hoping for a legit kiss, and they don't do that even by the end of the episode, unfortunately. Instead, they feel bad for the guy because they realize he's been sick, and then, of course, later on, they have a battle in karaoke, which is where people sing, and all of a sudden, oddly enough, the main character Masamune himself can't sing for shit, as we learned. So he like makes everyone there. I mean, I was really laughing at that part though, but this was not that great. This did not call to me to anything I was really like expecting per se. But at the same time, it wasn't that strong of an ending. Even if it is a season finale, I'm gonna presume right now it's a season finale. I mean, like we get this at the end of the screen, like at the very end after all the credit stuff, dead or alive. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What's the point of this phrasing? I don't understand. Was there a point to that? Um, overall, it's just that Masamune-kun, it wasn't a horrible show by any means. I really enjoyed a lot of it especially when it was doing its stuff that was not cliche. I mean, I think that the show had some stuff working for it. Let's talk about it because, of course, as with the last episode, I do plan on reviewing of the season, so I want to talk about that. So animation-wise, Masamune-kun has been very nice to look at. I mean, the characters, the art in general have not been the best thing in the world, but at the same token, they're still very well done. I really like them. I like the character designs. I think the character designs are pretty cool overall. And they felt a little different, even though they're kind of generic in their own right. They felt a little bit different in terms of how they drew certain characters, so I do appreciate that. Music-wise, music was okay. I don't think it was anything to be, writing home about. The opening and closing were kind of forgettable, but they weren't too bad. Overall, the story and pacing, that was what had me at times where the story was really good at times. I mean, the whole concept of this being a revenge story hasn't been done, that's not something done very often in anime in general, if you really think about it. And it's for its working, it worked in its at times. It really did. I think what made it falter was the addition of Neko's kind of background story, which was her being sick, obviously, and the fake Masamune, which that didn't even wrap up in this episode. That was actually like thrown under the bus. Like they didn't even care about it anymore. And that was a very odd conclusion for this whole thing. But I think that's what really killed the show's momentum, to be honest with you. And I really wish almost that those two things didn't exist. I think they really ruined the whole show, to be honest with you. And it's very rare that a kind of one thing can ruin a show, but two in conjunction with each other that were really weak, and that took up at least a good 5 or 6 episodes in itself. It's not good for the show, I mean? Because, like, Neko's whole background story took at least 2 episodes. And then, of course, the doppelganger Masamune took another 2 episodes. I mean, I'm not going to say 6, so I'll say 4, but that's still a quarter, essentially, of the show. And that's not good for the show. Especially a 12-episode show, in general. It just... I don't want to say, like, I don't recommend watching Masamune, because I think that Masamune has some fun and charm to it. I really do. And I feel that, there's going to be some people that say, oh, this is a great show, I love it, or people who say they hate it. And they'd be right both ways. You could really love and hate this show, and I think that's almost kind of fitting for shows like this, because most romance shows you can kind of love or hate. That's the concept for them. But if I had to review this show and give it an A through F, I'd have to give it a solid C+. I'm going to give it a C+. I think that's a good score because even though it wrapped up at the end at a very kind of meh manner, and even though there's some really crappy arcs, I'll tell you right now, Masamune, when it was working really well, to the point that I was engaged, that I really liked some of the episodes, and that's that really kind of is a testament in itself that there were episodes like that, and there were a decent amount of episodes like that. I mean, like I said, episode 2 to maybe roughly around 7 or 8 were really solid episodes, and that at least is the majority of the show. So I have to give it that. It's the first episode wasn't that great, and then the last several weren't that great, but those episodes were the bulk of the series, and I think they were really well done. The comedy worked, the concepts worked, and I liked how they went against a lot of the usual typical tropes of anime. They kind of threw in some like little wrenches here and there to make it kind of just overall a lot better. I mean, Neko's breakup plot that she had, excuse me, with Masamune, that worked very well. I think that was what made the show at one point very well on my list because he actually broke up with her. He's like, I don't want to be with you per se. I mean, I don't want to say break up in the manner of like they were boyfriend girlfriend originally, but he broke it off with her because he felt like he was leading her on, and he didn't want her to be like that. He wanted to focus on Aki, and I think that was a good idea for the show. I think that was a good part of the story because I really understood that. That was a great thing right there. Even the stuff with like the island and etc. That was all well done. That was fun. That was exciting. It had some great humor. Episodes before that were really well. It's just like this. These are the last episodes that really killed it, and they killed the momentum. Because I would have gave this. I would have been honest with you guys. I would have gave this show probably a good B- or B if it had kept up the pacing of the show, but unfortunately it did not, so that's why I'm giving it a C+. But still, a commendable show. I definitely recommend trying it. You'll probably know if you like it by the 3rd episode, I'll be honest with you, so you can give it a 3-episode test if you do stuff like that. Anyways, guys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'm sorry it's a little late, but I kind of didn't sleep very well last night, so I think that's like the story of my life sometimes when it comes to doing reviews, especially if they're during the afternoon. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy it. As always, if you do enjoy my reviews, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, the whole 9. I will talk to you later. Until I pass across to the next review, have a great, blessed day, everyone. Bye-bye.